Hey my friends, welcome back to Mark Kelly Farm. We are back in the kitchen because we are out of canned beans in the root cellar. We use quite a bit of them for loads of things like salads and other dishes that we make, but we've used them all. So time to get them going again. It'll be pretty much the start of our canning season, so stick with us. We got out both of our Presto canners. Ruby's going to help, right, Ruby? Right? You going to help? Maybe not. Got our other one over here. Each of these holds 8 pints. So we're going to do 16 pints at a time. We bought a big bulk bag of pinto beans, super cheap. We also got a bag of Great Northern beans that we're going to do on another occasion, maybe tomorrow. But we've got enough measured out here for 8 pints in one canner, and then we'll do another one. But I want to rinse these off, get any dirt or anything out of them. And then we're going to come through. We put a half a cup of beans in each pint jar, and then you fill the rest up with water. And I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. I'm going to put a little seasoning in with the beans, probably some powdered chicken bouillon, just a little bit in there, just to flavor it up in the place of salt. So let's get these beans rinsed. Now that we've got our jars filled with our beans, we're going to fill them up to the shoulder for the correct headspace. See this ring right here? With hot water. So we're going to use hot water so things go a little bit quicker in the canner. We're also going to put hot water in the canner. So that'll speed things up a bit. And because we're doing these dry beans like this, we don't have to do a lot of prep work. And we can even skip a lot of steps in our canner. We'll just kind of blow through them. We got good well water here. We don't have to worry about chlorine or any of that business. This is the absolute simplest recipe you can can. It doesn't get any easier than dry beans. And when you're all done, you end up with cooked beans because they cook right in your jar. And you can use cooked beans just by dumping them out of the jar. You don't have to cook them half the day like you do with just regular dry beans if we were to just leave these dry, which is a good thing to have in your pantry, because they keep forever. But we're going to get some cooked so we can make dinner really quick. Now that we got our jars filled, we just come on here with brand new lids. We don't have to sterilize them. It's another reason why this is super easy. They're brand new lids out of the box. And because these jars are going to be in the canner for 90 minutes under pressure, it's going to sterilize everything right in that canner. So we don't have to do it ahead of time, which is Very nice. And then you also saw we didn't wipe the tops of the jars because we're only using water, so that doesn't hurt anything. If it's food or something sticky, you obviously will need to do that in case you've got anything on there that would keep it from sealing. But I don't worry about it with just plain water. Now we're going to put our jars in our canner. I just give the jars just a little snug. I don't wrench down on them crazy hard. Just snug them and put them in. Now if you've ever pressure canned something and you lose liquid in the jar, that's because your pressure is coming down too quickly. These digital canners, the pressure comes down on their own. You don't open it, you don't bleed it off, so you don't have that problem. All right, last jar. So now we're going to put our hot tap water in here as well to kickstart this thing. Now there's a line inside your cooker. You can't see it on camera, but that's the minimum water level for pressure canning, and we've got it up there. It's not a lot. So now we're going to get the lid on this thing. We're going to turn it like that. Now we're going to click pressure can, and then we're going to set our timing for our pressure canning, which is 90 minutes. And then it says insert jars, which we did. And now it's warming. And when it's done with the warming stage, it'll let us know. Now normally when it says insert jars, you're inserting empty jars that are half full of water. And what it's doing is it's actually warming your jars for you. So when you put your hot liquid into the jars, it's not shocking the jars. You pull your jars out one by one. Once the warming cycle's over, you dump the water out in the sink. You've already got the right level of water in your canner because the jars were already in there. So the water in the jars you would dump out, fill your jars, and then put them back in the canner one by one as you fill them. And then you would go into the cooking cycle and all that. So like I said, we're able to skip a lot of this because right now our filled jars aren't even supposed to be in there. So we're just kind of going through the motions on this canner just to get it going. Well, I got tied up on a phone call with my oldest daughter, Becky. Didn't want to cut her short because I don't get to talk to her very often. So now we're going to go to softball real quick because I don't have time to get these going. But we'll be right back with you with the magic of television, and we'll get these things going. All right, folks, it's 11:30 at night. We just got home from softball. We had a doubleheader. So we're getting the canners back going again. Now I planned on having these done when I got home so I could put in a whole nother batch. And then we'd have 32 jars done instead of 16 in the morning. All right, the warming phase is over. It says fill jars. We've already done that. They're in there full already. So now it's going into heating phase. Now once it's through the heating phase, it'll automatically go into the venting phase, which is 10 minutes. Make sure that your cooker or your canner is on vent, and both of them are. The instructions actually say to pull these things completely off, but no need to do that. Okay, canner's beeping, so we can close our regulator. Hit that button. Now it's in cannon mode. So now that these are in cannon mode, it's midnight. Guess what? I don't have to sit up and watch it. I'm going to bed, folks. We'll see you in the morning. And when we get up, these canners will have turned themselves off, and the pressure will have bled down to 0, and I can just open them up and take the jars out. Pretty nifty, right? Alright folks, it's the next morning. We've unloaded our canners. We have 16 jars of beautifully canned beans, and you can see we barely made a dent in our 10-pound bag of pinto beans. We're gonna do another round, but first need to go outside. Got a beautiful morning out there. Gonna go hoe around. Good morning, boys and girls. Alright, we got all done in the garden, so we're going to put another batch of beans in. We're going to do another batch of pintos. We went and got all of our stuff from the root cellar, ready to kick this thing off. Now, in case you're wondering, once you get all of your jars in your canner, it takes about 2 quarts of water. It's kind of hard to see that line when it's full, so 2 quarts is just about right. There you go. Once you get her shut down and everything and you put it in the canning mode, once it builds pressure, this pops up and doesn't allow you can't open this lever because this pin is up here. And then you also can't turn the lid because this lever goes down into the lid when you lock it in. So it's extremely safe. It's not like the old ones where if you tried hard enough you could get the lid off under pressure, which is a bad thing. And most of your canning accidents that you heard about in the past are people doing silly things that they shouldn't be doing. Now these things aren't at the full pressure yet. This countdown timer will not start until it's up to the 15 psi that it cans at. So, and it'll give you a little beep when it's doing that, but you don't have to come back. We can walk away now and this thing does everything by itself. And then we'll have all of our beans done. It's breakfast time, so we're going to have some corn pancakes, or Carl cakes as we call them. Recipes on the channel. Basically you dump a can of cream corn in your bowl, put about the same amount of any ready mix, pancake mix, and then enough water to make it pourable. If any of you young folks don't know how to cook pancakes, when all these bubbles pop and the holes stay open, that's when it's time to flip them. There you go. We're having ours with lots of butter and some sorghum molasses here. It's going to be a nice treat. Alright, canning is done. It shut itself down and bled itself off and everything. It's ready to open up. We're going to take the lid off and let it cool down for a little bit before we pull the jars out. Okay folks, just like that we got 32 cans of our pinto beans. We probably used half of that bag of dry beans. We're going to put the rest of that in the cupboard for use on a later date, maybe for cooking just beans and ham hocks or something like that. And then while we have the canners out, we'll probably do up probably one batch, which would be 16 pints of our Great Northern white beans. That's going to be a real good addition to our pantry for some quick and easy meals. We hope you've enjoyed hanging out with us for the past day or two getting this stuff done. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back and see us here on Mark Kelly Farm, where the content is always going to be free.